Good morning again, everyone. So this is the SAP community call on SAP Intelligent RPA. My name is Svea Becker and I'm your technical host today. And with me I have three very good speakers, very technical focused. And let me introduce those speakers to you briefly. So we have Xiaowei Xu. She leads in particular the store and marketplace for SAP Intelligent RPA and cloud operations. She has over 13 years experience in software development and involved in various projects including data analytics, cloud predictive, and now SAP Intelligent RPA. Afterwards, we will have Frederic van Borg. He is a developer manager in the SAP Intelligent RPA team with a specific focus on runtime. He holds a master's degree in computer science and works for SAP for more than 20 years, actually. And finally, we have Christoph Gors. He is a product owner for SAP Intelligent RPA. And Christoph and his team focus on bringing API integrations and document processing to SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation. So welcome, you three. I'm really happy that you're here with me today. And I hand over to Xiaowei to start the presentation.
Thank you, Svea. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. So hello everyone. So in this series of demos, I will take over and start to share what is available in the 2004 release. So just been rolled out last weekend about the new versioning that is available in the system. So here you can see that I have created just a brand new trial account. So the objective here is that I put the situation as everyone that you can face, and I will use this trial tenant to show you how this versioning works. So here you are in the factory of the IRPA. We are in the project page that you can all have. I will just create a new project that we all do. So for example, I create a project with the title is a versioning demo. Okay, so it create a new tab with the Cloud Studio. I will just do some very random thing because the idea of the demo is not to show the project, but I will show how to manage this versioning. So I imported here a desktop studio. So here it imported the zip file of the desktop package that is exported from the desktop. So you remember to import this zip into the cloud, you need to first export it from the desktop studio. And then of course you should, if you want to use it, then you have to expose it. So expose the scenario as a skill. You save it, and here, just like the previous version, so you can then decide to generate package. So just to recall that here in the IRPA, we have the concept of the project and also the package. So project is for edition, and then the package is for the distribution to the runtime. It's and also to reuse from the store. So it's a really immutable artifact. So here, in this generator package dialog, you can see that you have still have the name and description. And here, as the message, it says that the version number will be 1.0, and then build one. So here, this is different from the previous versioning schema, because previously we have only one digit, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This kind of versioning that is available. So starting from 2004, now we introduce more semantics in the versioning. We will have the concept of the major version and also the minor version. So what's the concept of this is to say that the major version really record any major version like you can have in the other computer science system, and it can from one major version to another. You can have incompatible change. You can have a major improvement that you want to notice the others, and then in the minor version, then it's more about the continuous improvements, the bug fix, and also the other minor fix. Okay, so here if I generate a package here, then the version will be 1.0. If I go to my package tab, you will be able to see that this package that is generated, it has the 1.0 that is available. You can see the content, you can come back. So previously the package already have a life cycle. So this life cycle is still in place. You can see that here for this particular package, because it has just been generated, so it's a life cycle, it's a preview. You can decide to release it, and then the package become released. And from here you can have, as you already did from previous version, deploy the package and run it, etc. Okay. So now coming back to this project, I want to also continue to modify this this project to show how the versioning evolve. So for example, just if for example, let me just add another documentation. For example, I want to tell people tell people what is the documentation of the package that I have just uploaded. So now I have uploaded a new file. I would consider this is a minor change because I have not changed the logic of my package itself. So I would like to just make a minor version change. So here I come back to my home page of the project. I click on generate a package, and you can see that here the dialog has changed from the previous situation. You have two choices. Either you say I want to generate only minor changes. This is my case. So you can see here the version number is then showed here. It's increased from previous one. It's now version 1.1. Previously it's version 1.0. For example, if I decide that the changes I have included, it's a major version, meaning that I have changed the logic, I have maybe break the compatibility, I want to really, everybody knows that there's a big changes coming, then I could choose the second choice, contain significant change, which may impact the dependent projects. So then the version will become 2.0. So here in my case, it's just minor version. So I will generate the package with the minor change choice. If I come back to the package, I will see that then the new version is 1.1. Otherwise, it will generate 2.0. Okay, so here up to this step, we introduced this new new semantics of the version that in the usage of IRPA intelligent RPA developer, you can use it to collaborate with the others, because once you generate a package, then you can share this package with other developer, other project member in the tenants, and then everybody will be able to use this information on the packages. I will also just take the chance to talk about the store, because the store has also evolved to take into account the same versioning. So previously between the factory, so between the package itself and also between the store, we have two different versioning schema. So sometimes you can have a different version that show up for the same package that you see in the store, and once you get it. So this has been aligned now. So for example, if I just click here one store content that is proposed by the S4HANA team, you can see that here the version is shown as 1.2. So for example, if you get this package, so let's just get it. It is ongoing, and then it will be passed to success. If you look at it, so you can see that here, once you get this project, it will show up exactly the same version, which is 1.2. Okay, so previously we had sometimes different version, and then we get feedback. It's not the perfect, and we would like to clarify a little bit more. So then we now align this versioning. Something I also want to show is that previously in the store, you can always just get the very latest version that is proposed by the content owner. So this is also changed because here you have of course you have a general layout changes here in the page. Previously we have the content that is shown is on the left hand side. Now it has moved to the right hand side. You can also collapse here. And the most important change is that now, if, for example, the content owner has submitted multiple versions of his store content, you will be able to see all of them. So here, as we just rolled it out, so there's not a lot of version that is available yet, but if you click on the show all versions, and if they are previous version, then you will be able to see all of them. You can, of course, open it to see what's the new. So here, as it suggests created, there's no what's new yet, but in the new version, then people then people know that what they have been proposed different from the previous one, and they will be able to add it. Okay. So maybe just one last thing I want to show you. I will share the slide. So I will stop sharing and start sharing again. You should see this coming.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to share this, show you this slide. So this is slide just explain a little bit the versioning. So is that previously I have demonstrated you how the versioning gets increased. So it is important to talk about that this versioning is also subject to the changes that exist in the lifecycle. So because the versioning still gets increased all the time. So for example, you will previously have a 1.0 of the build version 1 and the 1.0 build version 2, etc. And depending on whether the previous package has been released, the system then will propose to pass the versioning to 1.1. This is the demo I have just showed you. Okay, so for example, if in the left-hand side in this use case, if none of the package has been released, because in this case the user considered that he's still testing the package and he has still not make a decision of one package that is stable and can be really used for the deployment, then we will not propose to increase the version because the user is still in the testing phase for this project. Okay, so this means that the user will have a choice, like in the demo, to choose between the minor version and the major version by just indicate in the generated package what he wished to do. Still, the system will also help the user to decide whether a version increase will be possible or not, depending on whether this package is still in the testing situation. Okay, so with this, that's it for the demo. So Svea, I hand over to you.
Yeah, I was just wondering maybe, so first of all, thanks very much. And I think we will go ahead and collect the questions for a session at the end of the call. Okay, because we do not know what's still coming, so we cannot ask a question. Maybe it's the information is still coming. So I would say I hand over to Frederick.
Okay, thank you. So I will share my screen. So first of all, I will just start with a quick introduction about the new factory improvement we did in this release. So the big changes we are introducing with 2004 is that we revamp a little bit the top level tab. So in the previous release, you had the concept of deployment, which was basically a technical concept, and a tab management, which was used to manage the hierarchy and the agent. So we tried to simplify a little bit the organization of the concept in factory, and so we group all the functionality linked to the agent into a new agents tab. So in this tab, you will see the list of agents and a way to organize the agent available in our organization as an agent groups. I will come back in a couple of seconds in the demo. And the second tab, instead of management, now you are doing all the management of your landscape environment in the environment tab. And I will show you how to create an environment and the new section associated to this environment. So instead of using slide, I think it will be much more easier to explain these two concepts with a live demo. So I will try to go slowly, but basically you see the new agent tab and the new environment tab. So if I'm clicking on the agent tab, in the agent, you see the list of agents available in your landscape. So in my case, you can see my my agent here. So you can see the status of the agent, the version of the agent, and the available project on this agent. So I have no agent on my no project on my agent so far. And so the second tab, which is quite important, is what we call the agent groups. So for people who use the previous version, it was basically what we call a hierarchy in the previous version, but some people had some trouble to understand the concept of hierarchy. So basically hierarchy was basically used to organize the agents available in your organization. And this is exactly what we did here. So you organize your agent either by machine. So this is what I did here. So for instance, I created some groups. So some 2 machines for my development, 2 VDI for my acceptance, and 2 other VDI for production. So this is exactly the same workflow. You import the CSV as usual. It's a little bit like what you did with hierarchy. It's just that now you are talking about agent groups, so you are really grouping the agents available in your organization. So either by machine or by the login name of the person we will authenticate with the agent. So same thing. Paul and Pierre will be able to authenticate for development. I created some technical user for acceptance and technical user also for production. And for instance, that's basically what we had, and you can add them manually like before. But now it's a clear separation between, okay, this is the agent groups are defining the agents available in your organization, and now in your environment you will pick up some of these agents for your project. So that the second improvement we did in 2004 is this new environment tab. So here I created a watch new environment, for instance, and if you click, also you can create environment like before. And if I click on my new environment, here you have a complete new organization of the concept. So you don't have this concept of deployment anymore. Everything has been regrouped in terms of functional object. So what are the key functional objects you have in your environment? So the first one are the trigger, of course. So you can define some trigger. So you can add some trigger like before. So the schedule, the attended, or the API. You will see the deploy package. So here it's all the package deploy in your environment. Some addition about the variables. So if you remember, before 2004, we have this hierarchy variable, this text variable if you want to pass some information to your agent, or your credential variable if you want to pass some credential to your agent. So here we are only talking about 2 kinds of variables. So we remove the hierarchy variables. They are not here anymore. So we just have the text and the credential variable. So it's easier to so for instance, if I create a credential variable, here we go. I will enter my credential, and I created a credential variable, and you can see that this variable is available for my environment. I can do exactly the same thing, and I will do insert name, for instance, if I want to pass the name of my certificate to my agent. So you can see that we have a specific icon now to distinguish text variable and credential variable, but the hierarchical variable are not here anymore. Now we have a new specific tab for the agent. So this is here where you define which agent you want to use for your environment. And this is what you did here. So for instance, if you want to add an agent, So you will select the agent available in your organization, so either by login or by machine. So let's say I want to select my agent group by login, and I will say, okay, I am in the development phase, so I will select the development node. So Paul and Pierre will be able to use this environment. So I'm adding my agent, these two agents, in my environment. So that's the first option. So you can use your environment starting from now, and you can of course extend the agent you want to add your environment. So in this case, for instance, I will add some agent by machine. So let's say, okay, I'm still in development, so I will select me these two machines for my environment. So this means that if you remember, Pierre and Paul will be able to use their credential to use this environment, but also the two machines we just added thanks to this selection. So that's basically the concept of environment organized by this section. So a little bit like what you have on the project side. So now let's see how we can use this concept. So previously, when you were in the package section, you have this concept of deployment. So now it's a little bit different. So when you are clicking on the button, you would start with a wizard. So we added a wizard to guide you for the deployment of your package. So here you will see a list of environments. So in my case, I will select my What's New environment. I will click on Next. So you see that behind the scenes, so the concept of deployment was really a technical concept. So behind the scene, we are deploying the package, and we ask you if you want to do an attended, a schedule, or an API trigger. So in my case, I want to do an attended trigger. So we click on Next, and here you will select we are on Thursday. So I will select my day, and here now you are directly jumping to the environment section, and you can see that your demo shopping cart version 1. So if you remember the versioning number explained by Shawi, so the version 1 of the package has been deployed. So you can see that with the following trigger. So this link is clickable, so you can go to trigger, and you will see the list of triggers for this package, of course. You can remove the filter, so if you have different package, you will see all the triggers available in your environment. That's basically the key concept. So a couple of things which is important too. So we saw the wizard. So that's something which is important, but we add also the change package version. So the change package version was available also for a few releases in the product, but some customers were not fully familiar with this feature. So for instance, here I am in version 1 of this package. I did some evolution to my project. I upgrade some feature in my project, and I generated a build 2 of this package. I did some bug fixing and update some API or did some small changes. So I will come back to my package, and now I want to upgrade to this new version of the package. So this is what you can do here. So here you will select, okay, I want to use the build 2 for this package. So you will select the build 2. You can cancel the running job for the previous release if they are running. And okay, I want to change the package used by this environment. And now I'm using the new package build 2 for this environment, and of course the triggers are still valid, and you can continue to use the trigger. So that's basically the key feature of this new release. Of course, there is a color coding, so maybe I can show you. So for instance, if you want to, so blue, this means that the trigger is active. So if I disable my trigger, you will see a gray bar. So that's something which is important. Same thing for the package. You can disable the package to to see that is gray, so I will leave it blue. Maybe what can I do is just to extend a little bit. Of course, if you click on the package, you see the detail of the package. So you have the metadata, same thing for the trigger with the priority. Maybe I will try, it's kind of live because it was a live minute demo, but I will try to redeploy the version 1. So just to see if I can show you another feature. So here we go. So here I'm using the wizard again, but with version 1. And here we detect that you have already built 2 versions of your project in this environment. So here you have 2 options. You say, okay, maybe I want to be back to the finally build 2 was not working very well, so I want to come back to build 1. So you can downgrade in this case the package in your environment. So that's one of the options. The second option is, okay, no, I want to use these 2 versions of my package in the environment because I want to do some tests. So in this case, I will select my, I want my 2 package version in my environment. And I will do a schedule trigger in this case, just to show you that as usual. It's just to show you that now we have a couple of things. So here you see that my new schedule trigger is orange. So why is orange? Because this means that it's not able to execute. There is a warning here. Why I'm not able to execute this trigger? Simply because you can have only one active package version by environment, and today at this time this is a build 2 which is active. So now if I say I disable the build 2 and I want to use for test purpose my build 1 package, if I come back to my trigger, you see the trigger is blue again because the associated package has been activated. So that's basically a big change in terms of organization of the artifact available in your environment. We added also an error bar, so containing some error and warning. So if you are facing some deployment error, or if there is some warning, they will show up in this bar for your environment. So that's basically the key concept we introduced with this release. So I think I cover basically all the topic. Maybe what can I show you also? We discussed about the change package version, the error bar. There is something else also, is that we extended the role project member. So you can share, for instance, an environment with a project member, and the project member role has been extended, so you can edit and create an environment. The only feature which is not available for a project member is agent management. So as a project member, if I go to my agent section, of course you will not be able to add new agent to your environment because you are only a project member, but you can do all the edition and creation. And if I come back to my environment, just to show you that you have the sharing button here with a different privilege. So you manage, modify, and share an environment. Edit, you can only modify the environment, and read, the people will only be able to read the environment content. So that's basically what we did for this new release. Okay, so I think I'm done for my presentation, and I can hand over to Chris.
Thank you, Fred. Could you do me a favor and also show the slide about the PDF?
Okay, sure. Let me share my screen. Okay, all done. There we go. So I guess
slide 30, I think. 32. I think you passed it.
Okay, which one?
I think slide 30.
30, okay, there we go.
Yes, okay. In 2004, we introduced a new SDK library to work with PDFs. And this library, it has the simple functionality is exposed as activities, as you can see here in this little screenshot. And we also have some more advanced functionality that you can use when you write JavaScript that allows you to get a little bit more introspection, get a little bit more information about individual items in the PDF. At the moment, we support readable PDFs. So that means PDFs that have the actual text content in it, not only an image. And we also support passport protected PDFs. Yeah. We allow you to get the full text, but we also have filters which allow you to target specific regions or pages or page ranges of a PDF to only extract parts of the PDF. The most powerful feature, I guess, for you would be to extract the text with your regular expression. This way you can match unique patterns like dates, invoice numbers, prices, this kind of stuff. You can also search for specific words and then get the exact position of that word or get the word after that. For example, if I want to get the invoice date, I can just search for invoice date and then get the word after, and this way I would get the actual date. These are the convenience functions that are mentioned at the bottom. And now I would like to show you a short example on my machine. And for that, I'm going to share my screen.
Sharing.
Okay, thank you, Fred.
Go.
All right, so I created a new project. That's all I did at the moment, a new project, and I also created a few context variables. But before we start, let's have a look at the PDF. This PDF is a train ticket I used some time ago to visit our colleagues in Paris. And for the purpose of this demo, it has 2 pages. Let's try to get the text of the full text, and then let's use a filter to only get the text of the second page. And then let's also try to extract this order number down here. So Auftragsnummer, and then there's some code that we would like to have. And I already prepared this with the context variables. So we have one to store the full text. We have another one to create a filter for the second page, to store the text of the second page, to store the order number. And there's another method just to also try this one out to get the number of the document. To start, I'm going to create a new workflow. Extract big data. And as you can see here in the activities, there are some new ones for PDF. And first of all, let's open the PDF. By dragging and dropping one of these PDF activities, we automatically get the framework libraries for PDF included. I have to compile first. Let's finish this and then we will come back to the framework libraries. When opening the PDF, of course, we have to give the file name. Okay, so let's put it at a convenient location under my C drive. And as always in the studio, whenever you provide paths, always remember to use the double backslash. Okay, now just going to compile this shortly. And sorry, I was in the wrong tab. No, from here, as you can see, the framework extensions for PDF have been automatically included. Okay, now PDF is opened. Let's first get the full text of the document. For this, we have the get text activity. We just have to select where we want to store this. Let's do it here in the full text. And as you can see, we have an optional parameter for a filter. And we are going to use this filter to extract the second page. So I'm going to drop another activity here. As you can see, the filter offers you a little bit more options. You can provide page or page range. So get the first page, get the third to fifth page, and maybe also get the page number 10. That's all valid if you want to select page ranges or multiple pages. In our case, we're only interested in page 2. And if you would like to get a little bit more specific, you could even say and define a bounding box. So you define the position of the box and the size of the box, and you can say, okay, I only want to extract something that's in this box. Let's store our filter in the filter context variable. And then we are just going to drop the get text activity again. This time, we just want the text of the second page, and that's also the reason why we don't need to provide the filter we just created. And there it is. Now let's work with the extract text with regex. This one we want to use to get the order number from our document. Let's have a look at the document again. To extract the order number, I think it makes sense to just search for this text and then get the text after that. So I'm going to copy this and write our regular expression. As you can see down here, there's also an example on how to use it. It's a little bit technical. You have to know about regular expressions, but I guess this is also really powerful because it allows you a lot of flexibility. Now, in the braces here, this is a capturing group, so every pattern that I define in these braces will be extracted and returned. So since we want to have the order number and it consists of characters and numbers, I'm going to define I want to have characters, and I also want to have the numbers from 0 and 9. And then we are done. We have to tell it, of course, where to store it. We're going to store it in the order number context bar. And last, I guess we should also get the page, the number of pages. Here again, let's store this somewhere, number of pages down here. And it's always a good practice to close the PDF or release the resources once you're done working with the PDF. Okay, so our workflow is done. We open the PDF, we get the full text, we create a filter for the second page, get the text of the second page, extract the order number, and lastly we get the number of pages. I'm going to compile this now, and then we are going to set a breakpoint and take a look what was extracted by our workflow. Okay, here's our workflow. Extract ticket data, and just go all down here until the PDF release and set a short breakpoint. And we'll start debug now. Okay, it's on a different screen. Let's move this down for you. Okay, here's my agent. We have our extract ticket data workflow. I'm going to start this. And we're already done. All the data has been extracted and can inspect it now. So as we can see, let's open the PDF as well, maybe on the left side. As you can see, if we get the full text, it starts with online ticket, and as you can see, that's correct, we have the online ticket here at the top. Then we also wanted to know the number of pages, and it has 2 pages, so we also could recognize that correctly. The text of the second page, it starts with wichtige Nutzungshinweise, sorry, it's German. And the most important thing, I guess the most interesting use case here is to extract the order number. And we could also see that we could successfully extract the order number from our PDF. Okay, let's stop this. I guess we are done. One more thing. In the activities, as I said, we only have the simplest activities exposed. Yeah. But as you can see, there are a lot more activities that you can use when you are coding in JavaScript on here. So here we have some more convenience method to just work with the PDF, search a specific word, get the word after, get the word before. We also have functionality to get the text items. This is really powerful. For example, you can, when you get the text items and you have a region in your PDF that you have something that you want to extract and it's always at the same position. Let's say below this Zahlungsposition and price. Then you could search for this text item here, and you would not only get the text, but you would also get the position and the size of this text item. And with this information, you could create a filter and say, okay, I want everything below this text item, for example. Yeah, that's it. That was just a sneak peek. If you have any questions, yeah, feel free to ask them, I guess now, Svea.
Yes, thank you very much, Christoph. We have a question in the chat. If the data is tabular format, how is the data read in the first page?
Yeah, so this is the tricky part with PDFs. Usually this looks like a table, but a PDF doesn't really have a table data structure. So in the end, these are just individual text items. And if I would like to extract, for example, Karlsruhe, I would do something like search for a text item with the text font, and then I would create a filter to get the text below that. Actually, we are currently working on the second version of this SDK library, and there will be some convenience functions to extract column data. But in this version, you will have to do it more or less, I say, manually, by searching the column header and then creating a filter for the text items below that.
Okay, perfect. I hope this answers your question. Yeah. Then we have in the Q&A section, we have 3 questions. I start reading it, but also you 3 panelists, you can also access them directly. So the first one is, does it help to identify DocuSign in Gänsefüßchen, sorry, I missed the word, slash signature. So does it help to identify DocuSign slash signature is the question?
That's currently not supported, no. We only support reading normal PDFs. You can also provide a password, but we can't extract signature information at the moment.
Okay. Then an anonymous attendee asked, thanks for the demo. In the exercise, we see picking single file. Can we do this for bundle or PDF files?
I don't really get the question. I mean, here you can specify the path to your PDF. And this could also be a variable from a context variable. Maybe you can specify. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, so he was asking about, so you showed a single file and maybe not a single one, but 2 or 3, if it's possible to pick those up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, maybe you have multiple invoices that you want to process, then you have you create a workflow to process a single invoice like this one. And then maybe you have a second workflow that takes a look at your directory with the invoices and then just calls this workflow for each individual invoice and passes the path to your invoice here on the file name, for example.
Okay, thank you. So I hope this answers your question. And Sandeep is asking, is it capable to also extract information from scanned PDF or image content from PDF?
No, that is currently unfortunately not possible. We have this on our roadmap, so we are investigating this to also integrate OCR, so do the character recognition first and then work with the PDF, but it's not in 2004.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so if there are no more questions, I would like to emphasize you having a look in the SAP community, because in this month, May, we have SAP Intelligent RPA as the topic of the month. So there are a lot of blog posts and activities around it. So we really hope that you have a look into that one. And of course, this presentation, or actually this recording, will be shared in our SAP community as well on the SAP community calls page, and I will paste the link here in the chat. And I have already pasted the SAP community profiles of the speaker. So if you want to follow them, then you always see when there is new content. Of course, you can also follow the tag SAP Intelligent RPA. So then you get a notification when there is new content. And we have another question from Rankumar. While opening PDF, will there be any identifier to return? It's a readable PDF/scanned PDF to decide to read further or not. So maybe you have a look in the Q&A to read it.
Ah, okay. You want to if I understand it correctly, you want to distinguish if we can distinguish between readable PDFs and scanned PDFs which are currently not readable by our library. There is no convenience method for that, but how I would approach this is I would probably open the PDF and then just use the get text activity. And if the get text activity is empty, then I would assume that this PDF I'm probably working with something that has images and I can't read with the library of 2004.
Thank you. So if there are no more questions, then I can only thank you, Christoph, Frederick, and Xiaohui. So thanks for being part of this session today. And as I mentioned, stay tuned in the SAP community, and I wish everyone a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.